Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Juliana Rodriguez. I am Minister First Press Secretary for Arts, Culture, Status of Women. And joining us today also is Minister Schow and Minister Boychenko. So we appreciate you all making the time today, and we're going to get into the topic of the minister's new mandate letters. So I encourage you all to frame your questions around that topic. And with the time today, ministers will take one question and one follow-up from each media outlet, and then we'll open the floor to additional questions if we have time at the end. Please be sure to raise your hand so that I can see it and come over to you to give you the spotlight. And when I do invite you to ask your question, just turn on your camera so the ministers can see you. So to start off, we'll have the ministers provide some opening remarks. So I will turn it over to Minister Furr.
Thanks, Juliana. Can you hear me okay?
Good to go.
Okay. So hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. So we know Albertans elected us to get the job done, and that's exactly what we're doing. From the launch of Building on Our Strengths, Alberta's 10-year strategy to end gender-based violence, putting Alberta with the most comprehensive plan in all of Canada, and continuing to bring more awareness, prevention, and supports to Albertans in every corner of the province. To celebrating our rich culture and heritage through events like Alberta Day, where this year record-breaking crowds joined us in honoring 120 years of our strong province. And we're excited to continue making Alberta Day celebrations bigger and better each year, while also giving more Albertans opportunities to connect with our provincial story and feel proud to call Alberta home. As Minister of Arts, Culture and Status of Women, I'm proud of the strong foundation our government has laid, and I'm excited to tackle the key priorities of my updated mandate letter from Premier Danielle Smith to continue serving Albertans. My goals include driving major growth in all of Alberta's creative industries through coordinated governance to showcase the beauty and spirit of our artists, musicians, crews, venues, and more. From music and television to film and performing arts, our innovative supports and competitive incentives will ensure Alberta remains a global destination for arts. And particularly looking forward to continue working with Minister Schow on the film and television side of our cultural industries. So it means more jobs, more investment, and more opportunity for Alberta talent to thrive right here at home. Also, as a national leader in repatriation, we'll continue partnering with First Nations to repatriate sacred items and honor their rich history. Reconciliation is more than words, it's also action. So by engaging with Indigenous communities, we're ensuring their voices are reflected as we update our repatriation framework to return ceremonial items in respectful and culturally appropriate ways. And again, we'll also focus on strengthening efforts across government to support survivors of domestic and gender-based violence. By protecting vulnerable Albertans, we're working towards making violence a rarity in our province, not a norm and not reoccurring. This mandate is about celebrating who we are, protecting those who need it most, and unlocking Alberta's cultural and economic potential. So together, we'll continue getting it done for Albertans. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Furr. And now we'll go to Minister Schow with Jobs, Economy, Trade, and Immigration.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me and my colleagues, Minister Furr and Minister Boychenko. I'm pleased to join you and talk a little bit about the new mandate that I have received from the Premier in my most recent mandate letter. There's a number of items here that I think are really important, but at the very top of the list is use every legal means to secure more provincial control over international immigration, prioritizing Canadians and Albertans getting the first crack at jobs here, and making sure that young Canadians have an opportunity to find that first job and enter the workforce. In addition to that, the trade relationships we have known for decades here in Alberta are changing, particularly down in the United States. So as a result, we are now investigating and looking at new trade opportunities around the world. This is something that we've been interested in for quite some time, but now we are more eagerly pursuing those. And so as the Minister of Jobs, Economy, Trade, and Immigration, I will be taking many international trade missions to foster relationships with other jurisdictions around the world and help sell Alberta products to them and help support Alberta businesses. Also, we have taken on the lead role in the defense sector with the province. The announcement by the federal government to increase defense spending to meet our NATO commitments poses a very unique and great opportunity for the province of Alberta, given our skilled workforce and dynamic landscape that allows us to use our municipalities and areas around Alberta for defense projects and manufacturing facilities. So I'm sure there'll be lots more questions, but I'm excited to chat more about my mandate letter and how my job as the Minister of Jobs, Economy, Trade, and Immigration can help build Alberta's economy and support our province for generations to come.
Thank you, Minister. And now I'll pass it over to Minister Boychenko from Tourism and Sport.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces here. And it's nice to be joined here by Minister Furr and Minister Schow, my colleagues, and also to talk about the mandate letter. And I'm delighted that we can meet today and talk about this. Give you a quick highlight on my mandate letters, which is to continue to expand opportunities for sustainable year-round tourism and in the Rockies with all-season resorts, and also to continue growing Alberta's tourism sector in a sustainable fashion that we will ensure visitors pay their fair share of tax and fees. And also we want Alberta to continue to be the best place to live, work, visit, and play, which is why we will ensure the full implementation of the Fairness and Safety in Sport Act, and also to ensure future bids to host international and national sport events are respectful of taxpayers' dollars. We will be creating a new provincial bidding policies. We will continue to work with Travel Alberta to unleash Alberta's potential and reach our ambitious goal of $25 billion of visitor expenditure by 2035. Since 2023, my ministry has worked to increase access to sport and recreation opportunities across the province, encouraging all Albertans to live and lead active and healthy lifestyles. This includes initiatives like the Every Kid Can Play program, which gives kids affordable access to sport, and the Active Communities Initiative supporting the development and renewal of sport and recreation infrastructure in our province. We also are helping to drive economic growth by positioning Alberta as a premier host for major sports events, creating jobs and attracting visitors from around the world. To further support tourism and bring more Alberta to the world, we have launched our tourism strategy, which aims to grow the visitors economy to $25 billion, as I mentioned, by 2035. The key to the tourism strategy is the All-Season Resort Act, which will help enable year-round tourism in our province and will help broaden opportunities for both tourism and operators in our province. Our provincial agency, Travel Alberta, offers the several programs benefiting rural Alberta, and not just the key location, the top three that we have in our province, but also the programs like the Tourist Development Zone Initiative to support rural tourism development in high potential regions in our province, and the Tourism Investment Program, which provides direct investment to accelerate the development of tourism experience that will drive economic impact and job creation in the province. We have also made one of the largest ever provincial communities to provincial commitment, I should say, to Indigenous tourism in Canada, with Travel Alberta investing $8.85 million to Indigenous tourism Alberta between 2026 and 21 and 26. Tourism and sport play a vital role in sustaining the vibrancy and resilience of our province. Our government remains firmly committed to supporting these initiatives, activities in communities across the province. And together we will build a stronger, more active and economically thriving rural region in our province. And with that, I want to say again, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today, maybe answer some questions you might have. And I'm looking forward to have a conversation with you guys.
Thank you, Minister. So now we'll jump into questions. We did have some pre-submitted questions, so we will start there and then we'll go to everyone in the queue here who might have a follow-up. So first, I'll have Sunil from our community, if you want to start us off with your first question there.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you. It was nice to see you, ma'am. It has been a long time to see you in person, but it's good to see you virtually. I have unmuted.
We hear you still.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, because it was showing unmuted. That's why. Unmute. Ma'am, any minister or any of you can answer my question here. Recently, we have seen at the workforce, the incidence rate has been increased and the WCB claim has been increased too. And basically they are, if we see the status, like how these people are who are involved, they are vulnerable workers. When I say government vulnerable worker, basically I'm talking about the young and youth workers who are new to the workforce, worker on temporary or work permit, English as a second language, employee with a limited training or safety awareness because they have, they have come from different parts of the world. Worker facing challenges as social anxiety, ADHD, other barriers, sexual orientation, communication, understanding. These groups are higher risk and they represent our future workforce also because eventually we will be retiring. What concrete steps government is taking to ensure they are protected today and we are building better future for Alberta?
Well, I'll go ahead and take that question, and thank you for that, Sunil. So improving health and safety standards starts with making sure that workers, excuse me, and employers have the right information to help spot and reduce risks and hazards. So prevention really is the first step in improving workplace health and safety. Workers are also supported in understanding that their rights and responsibilities in the workplace through a range of publications and resources. And these resources are pretty easily accessible to workers, and several are available to in multiple languages rather. To ensure Alberta has the necessary workforce and resources to support employers and employees, our government is investing in effective hiring and essential personnel, reviewing legislation, or training staff, and investing in education and prevention initiatives to enforce key health and safety standards. So, I would say that Alberta has access to over 400 free OH&S resources through an online portal, which also includes visual content and best practice documents. And many of these resources, they have been translated into languages other than English to assist employers, workers, and others to understand their rights and responsibilities under OH&S legislation.
Thank you, Minister. And I think Minister Furr had something she wanted to chime in here. Oh, Minister.
There we go. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Sunil. Nice to see you again. So just adding on to Minister Schow's comment, specifically as it relates to Alberta's 10-year strategy to end gender-based violence, under priority 4, it's about empowering women to be economically independent. So we're supporting academic research on the link between ill-fitting personal protective equipment and gender-related workplace injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. And the work will strengthen our understanding of how safety standards and equipment can better meet the needs of all workers, including women and other vulnerable groups, so that they're better protected on the job. So that's just some comments to add to Minister Schow's reply.
Thank you, ma'am. Really appreciate it.
Sunil, did you have a follow-up question?
No, I do, but reason being, I think I will give a chance to other people before I asked, or is that okay, Agnes, to ask the question now?
If you wanted to ask it now, you do have the opportunity to do a follow-up, or you can come back at the end after everyone's
Thank you. Thank you. I will ask now. Reason being, Tanya, as you know, I'm a health and safety consultant as professional, and I do go to different sites. As you as we mentioned, right, the resources are there, but they do not get communicated to the people, especially the new trades, like or a young worker, the people who are on a work permit. They get too scared. They don't ask. If you want, I can give you the examples, like what I have seen people like in last few months. I have been like, I'm kind of like, honestly, I've been involved in the fatality investigation, person getting, paralyzed down. It's just what happened and they are not aware of it. So I will tell you, like a few days back, I was like today in the morning before coming to this site, and I'm at the site doing a site walk. Person is kneeling and working, kneel down and working. And I simply asked him, is all the nails are here, everything? And do you have a knee pad? And he's looking towards me and is like, I'm talking in English, like, I'm speaking French. I said, where is your knee pad? Because if knee pressure, everything goes on a nail, your knee can be hurt, or it can be a damage which could be for a longer term. So I think when we talk about having a document in the website, even being in a profession, finding information at the website or the government site or OHS website is difficult. Like it's it get missed in under. So and people are scared, and the workers are scared to even raise your voice, like ask questions. Like a few days back, I was at the site. People like, is it 20 sheets of drywall is leaning to the wall, and a person is standing on the top of the drywall sheets and working. I said, why you're doing that? And he's looking like language barrier only. So having a resources is one thing, implementation and retaining is one thing. So that is my follow-up question is OHS is doing a great job, but getting the information to the right people, to the person who's working on the ground is a challenge. I'm sorry, it was a straightforward, actually a site, like visual thing which I have seen or what I have experienced. So that's what I'm bringing back to you.
I understand. And thank you for making those points. I think you've raised a very important issue that we should be aware of as a government and as employers should be aware of is making sure that we're creating safe workplaces for employees, and particularly being cognizant of language barriers that might exist with employees coming from other regions. So we do try to make resources as available as possible from the government. As I mentioned in my last answer, we have a number of OH&S resources available online that have been translated into other languages. And we will continue to disseminate that information as much as possible and as broadly as possible. It's also important to note that we are always and constantly consulting and engaging with employers, particularly those that have employees coming from jurisdictions where English is not the primary language. And so at this time, my short answer, or rather my long answer to your question is that we continue to evolve and adapt as the workforces here in Alberta adapt and evolve.